Welcome to the DC University podcast. Wait, what? What? Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. Marvel Cinematic University podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Canton III, and we are here to cover Superman, James Gunn Superman, that is. Can't wait to talk about this movie. So many things to say, but I also have plenty of things to say about patreon.com/MCUniversityPod. We could get our bonus content. As yesterday, I finally went on Disney Plus and I kind of circled a little bit over to the old retro section where the old Fantastic Four movies were, and I saw the 2015 version of the Fantastic Four, and I regrettably added it to my saved content that I will be viewing very soon. As if you are a patron, we've been reviewing the previous old installments of the Fantastic Four, and we will be reviewing that movie very soon. Obviously,
Can I put it really bluntly? We're going to be doing that. The very least you could do is chip in $3 to listen to us talk about it. Yeah, it feels like a fair trade.
I felt like Superman interacting with Kryptonite the moment that I hit the save to my content files there. So if you're so inclined, join us, join our Discord, our backlog of episodes, every bonus episode that we've ever done. All that just for $3. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. With that being said, we have a wonderful panel. Let me get to them. First, the super producer, Jake Christie. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to talk about this movie, and I got the home run derby on in the background, but it's on mute, so I can see that Pat McAfee is talking, but I don't have to hear him.
That's about as good as it could ever get in a situation like that. Salute to you. And our friends are here. First, we leave the key under the mat for him, and he always comes back. Our pal, Rod, a.k.a. the black guy who tips. Rod, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. Happy to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And also, listen, the chaotic wonder, the online social media maven. Love this guy. Love whenever he joins the pod to give us his takes. His name is Teej. Better call Teej whatever season it's going to be. I can't wait for it. Teej, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I didn't even know the home run derby was on because I'm not a baseball fan like that.
Right, yeah,
also,
yeah.
I've
We all
never
baseball.
watched. Yeah, baseball's. Don't get me started on slandering baseball. But also, fun fact: I've never seen any of the previous Fantastic Four movies. I was cautioned away from all of them
Yeah,
at
not
the
worth it.
time, and I'm glad that I've never seen them. So I respect y'all's dedication to your audience for watching those or rewatching those if y'all have seen them before. I respect your dedication.
Yeah, neither of us have seen the 2015 one, so it would be a first time watch. But yeah, I mean, I mostly the $3 is mostly for AC because anyone who knows me is like I'm a masochist when it comes to stuff like that. Like I enjoy watching bad movies to talk about them, but AC has like a family and like things to do. Like my time's fungible, you know.
And then on top of that, I have successfully avoided all of them stupid ass, besides the Venom movies, because those were at least a little decent. But the goddamn Morbius, the goddamn Madam Web, and the goddamn Kraven the Hunter. I've avoided all three of those.
And I paid legal tender to see them in theaters.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of those, and I haven't ever seen one of the Venom movies either. When they put him in that first trailer, that was an easy way to keep me away.
I will say, in my defense, when I say legal tender, I mean the 50-cent processing fee because of the unlimited subscription. It's not like I wasn't paying $20. Like I'm not crazy.
This is the best start to the DC University podcast we could have ever asked for. But I do want to talk about James Gunn Superman, as it was a movie. Yes, make sure you look up while you're doing so. It was a movie that has captured the nation, quite frankly, and everybody's talking about it around the world. It's a big deal. Conversations abound, and I'm looking forward to talking about it with you guys. So first, as always, when we do on the show with big movies, we talk about theater experiences, how everybody felt. Teej, I'll start with you. What was your initial theater experience like for this movie?
So I've seen it twice. I saw it in IMAX the first time. I am an incredible lover of the work of James Gunn. I just think that he is phenomenal. So I say that to say my expectations were very high. Seeing the trailer, seeing the teasers that we got only raised my expectations. And I was kind of blown away by it. I was kind of blown away by what Gunn was able to accomplish here. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. First of all, our top three in our cast, they just all really work in those roles. Like there's like before you even turn a camera on, you have to make sure you get that part right. And I really like Corn Sweat as Superman and Clark Kent, although he doesn't spend a lot of time as Clark Kent. I really enjoyed him in that role. I really, really liked Lois, and I really like Lex here. And I thought Lex was going to be the hardest one to cast because we've seen Lex Luthor so many times in so many iterations. Nobody even gives props to the guy who did it in Smallville, who I thought was just great. I really like Smallville. But I'm not really a big Superman person. Like, Superman is not one of my childhood loves in terms of comic book movies or comic books or animated shows. I was never really into Superman. And I think my issue with Superman is kind of like every Superman movie, or at least a lot of the Superman movies, are just like a Messiah complex. Like in the Snyder one, first of all, Snyder kind of stinks as a filmmaker, but in the Snyder one, it's literally like, we are sending this guy back like as the savior figure. They're not even trying to hide these kind of allusions to like a white savior. And so that's never been really my bag in terms of movies in general. So I've never been a Superman fan. Plus, he has so many fucking powers. He's OP. He gets a new fucking power every time you see a comic or every time you see a new movie. So I just generally think it's uninteresting in movies. But I would say my favorite Superman project is probably Smallville. Although I do like Superman 1 from 1970. I think that was good.
Yeah, that movie rules.
But as soon as Gunn was attached to this, I was like, wow. Like, I think Gunn's going to really understand the character. And what blows me away the most about this movie is that he really understands the character. Starting Superman off, getting his ass whooped, the first thing you see, not just when you sit down in the movie, but also the first time he presented visuals of this movie in the first place in terms of the marketing, you see Superman bloody and beaten. That is so smart. It is insane how smart that is in the framing of this movie. This is not the big, bad, strong, nobody can touch him Superman. This is the emotional, struggling, trying to figure out his place in the world and the decision that he makes, trying to figure out who he is, Superman. That is not, he's getting his ass whooped for 85% of this movie. He's losing the fights.
Now
he's losing. Go ahead.
Now, Teej, I love when you're cooking. I love when you're blasting through and giving us takes. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. However, I'm gonna go on my Phil Jackson and call a little timeout right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the only thing I want to say is, we're gonna get to all of that.
Yeah, I think we're in a Donald Sterling. The question is this your handwriting? You were asked what your theater experience was.
I
really enjoyed it. Sorry.
I love
it. That's why I let you go for like 2 minutes. I was like, I'll let you go for a little bit, and then I just want to reel you back in. Don't worry, we gonna get there. There.
My bad.
But let me know, what was your theater experience like? How did it feel? Like, you say you went to IMAX. What was that feel like?
I had two different theater experiences. The first one was packed and a very active crowd in the IMAX, and the second one was kind of packed, but kind of didn't hear a lot of laughs from the jokes. We didn't hear a lot of oohs and ahs. My first theater was raucous. So I had two kind of different theater experiences, but that first one, that crowd was into it. I saw it early, so the crowd was super into it. They laughed at every joke, every big cameo they laughed. So my first theater experience was pretty amazing. The people were, the crowd was really into it.
Awesome. Teej, listen, you are right now, you were doing a little MJ impression in like 90, like before he won the title, and they said that he couldn't win a title because he won't pass the ball to his teammates. Right now, I'm trying to get you to the championship. Let me let you get there. I promise I will get you there. I promise I will get you there. But thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And Rod, what was your theater experience like, sir?
Oh man, it was cool because I got the early tickets for people with Amazon Prime, and so
likewise,
you could go see it on a Tuesday before the official Thursday release, and in IMAX. And the thing was, they only showed one movie trailer in my showing. It was they showed two. The first one was for The Cat in the Hat, and the second one was for Superman.
Yes.
Like the trailer it was almost like a hype reel. It was like watching Ray Lewis come out the tunnel. You know what I mean? It's like, we're about to watch this shit anyway. Let's go. And so it set the tone. But I also think it added a lot to the experience because I think one of the biggest things movies have to overcome these days is 30 minutes of trailers. And so getting to watch a 2-hour and 9-minute movie or whatever it was, and it what felt like 2 hours and 9 minutes and not 3 hours was like it was euphoric leaving the theater. I was like, why can't we just do that every time?
It'd be nice. It's so funny, like, because AMC obviously has that now where they're like, we got to do the 25 to 30 minute thing, and that's why, like, when I saw the Amazon thing, I was like, all right, let me jump on that right fast. That was a good situation
And
to
the
be
reason
in.
I
Jake,
point that out is I
yeah,
got early tickets to the Mission Impossible joint, and they promised no trailers, and there was 30 minutes of trailers in a 3-hour movie.
God
It was
damn
like,
it.
fuck you, fuck you, and fuck my time, right? So this one, the fact that they didn't do that, I love it and I appreciate it.
Listen, Jake, how about you?
So I wanted to see it on Thursday, but as I do with these new releases, I was going to see it with friend of the show, Michael Springthorpe, and he, is busy
Okay.
working at his camp that he works at that's out of town, so he couldn't go. And so we had to go on Friday, and we went to the the AMC Times Square because they have an IMAX, and it was a great crowd, really reactive, really into it. And it was just like euphoric, just being with these people who like were not obnoxious and like just really were with it, and were with it the whole time. And then on Saturday, I had just, got some barbecue at my local barbecue place, Pig Beach. Love it. One of my favorite places in the world, which it happens to be like 2 minutes away from the Regal Kaufman Astoria. I got out of there. The Mets just won. It was like 6:52, and I'm like, Superman's probably playing at 7. Let me go see Superman again at the local theater. Got a ticket pretty far up front because that was the only thing that was left. And the great thing about it was, like, even though it was a Saturday night crowd, it wasn't like an immediate crowd. Still almost just as into it. People still reacting. There's still people like really wanting to see it. And it was really cool to get 2 of those experiences in one weekend. We're like, yeah, like it really was like, you could feel like the awe and like the appreciation that people had for it, even if that's not as vocal as like ooh when a cameo comes up. It was like a lot of like, you could just feel the vibe was electric. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely adored it. I mean, I didn't see it 2 days in a row because I thought it was okay, but yeah, I'm really glad. And honestly, if we weren't doing this tonight, I probably would see it again tonight.
It's that kind of comfort movie, to be honest. For me, I had similar to Rod. Like, I had the IMAX and the Amazon preview screening. Went with my brother, who I usually go with to most of these movies. And yeah, the energy of the crowd. Like, I felt like this crowd had a particular appetite for this, as everybody was anticipating everything that they were about to see. Which, like, the energy was brought in as soon as we see right off the bat, like the scroll and everything like that. So I think throughout the movie there was just a palpable energy and a good energy in the theater, and people were just happy. And honestly, I felt like people left. It was so funny when the movie ended. It felt like people really wanted to applaud. They really did, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to be geeks.
We did both. Mine did both times. We did both times.
They want to be too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I clap. Like, I know people want to be a little too cool for school, but you could see it. Like, I was looking around and people just like didn't want to quite go there, but you could tell. Like, I love, and that's the thing about going to the movies, man. When you get these big releases and you get something that hits like this did, when you feel the energy from the crowd, it just enhances everything else. And then, of course, the visuals and everything you see like that was really cool. So yeah, wonderful theater experience. As I told my wife, we were supposed to go 40x yesterday, but weren't able to. We're gonna go 40x this weekend. Check out Superman. Looking forward to doing that.
Good call.
Yeah, so looking forward to seeing that
this week.
Yeah, my next one is 40x for sure. That's honestly what I'm waiting on.
Yeah, so that looking forward to that, but I'm also looking forward to talking about David Corn Sweat in this role, because as Teej mentioned earlier, a lot of people coming in didn't know how it would go, and granted, of course, you never know how these things will go when you cast somebody, but as soon as you kind of see, and you saw a little bit in the trailer, so you kind of felt the vibes were good, but then you see the performance, and I think how he was able to play off of everybody was really great. It also helps when you have a great cast with you, because it's easier to do it when everybody's also happy to be there, excited to be there. The energy is there. When you have insane chemistry with your love interest.
Mhm.
Like, yo, let
Man,
me tell you, them two,
great chemistry.
Rachel Brosnahan, David Cornswell, let me tell you, that heat,
Mhm.
woo,
They
boy.
had to censor it in India because the kiss was too sensual at the end. That's not a joke.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he did about as good of a job as you can do coming into a situation like that. Very, very impressed. Did a great job. Let's talk about this character, the way that everything went with it. Uh Rod, I'll start with you. What did you think of his performance? And what did you think of James Gunn's take on the character? Because it is a different
So I thought James Gunn understood the assignment in a way that a lot of people have not. In that Superman is not necessarily a tragic figure, even though he has a tragic origin story with his planet being destroyed and shit. But like from the casting, like Corn Sweat, perfect. He's corny, he's sweaty. You look like he out there trying hard. That shit is
Amen.
like the corniness levels was so off the charts, and that's honestly what was needed. Like Superman's he's kind of like Captain America in a way where he's not supposed to be cool. Like he shouldn't be too quippy. He shouldn't be making you laugh all the damn time. He's taking it serious, and he's kind of the nerd of the superheroes. And I like that juxtaposed with the other superheroes in this film. He's the guy who tries hard. Like he's the guy that they're kind of like, buddy, like take it down a
Yeah.
notch. And then the other thing with James Gunn, and my friend, he's a comedian and he saw the movie. We see a lot of movies. He texted me and I think he thought I was gonna argue with him because he's just like, oh man, Superman, he's so fucking dumb. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. Like, if you remember, my favorite depiction of Superman is actually the cartoon that came out at the same time as Batman. And the thing I liked about it is it felt like a different show because Superman's not outsmarting people. Superman's struggling with mixoplex. Like the magic fucks up with, like, he not a go to the back computer, find the DNA. That's not what he do. He can't die. So he approaches problems like the way a dude that can't die approaches problems. There's always a tomorrow for him. So he'll show up and be like, "Hey man, you shouldn't do that." He's not Homelander. He doesn't show up and just laser beam your fucking brain out, right? He shows up and he tries to be decent about it. And I think that was dope because it juxtaposes him to Lex, and you see why that can become such an adversary for him because Superman's never going to kill him. And also Superman's never going to like cheat, so he's like trying to play this fair game. And the one power he has is he can't die. Nothing for everybody else. Right. And then the last thing is I thought Corn Sweat found a different way to be Clark. And I thought that was important. We've seen so many depictions of Clark from the like goofy to the sullen, sad boy to all this shit. And shout out to Howard Bryant. Superman is a man of violence, and Clark has a temper in this film. Like even with all that chemistry he had, there's like an anger, seething righteous anger under him of like, no, I'm doing the right things. I'm trying to do my best. And if it means someone's got to punch someone in the face to keep them from invading the country, then that's what the fuck needs to happen. And no, I don't need to consult with the president or whatever the rules are. That's stupid to me. I have all this power and I feel a great responsibility. And so I just felt like they nailed it in every single way with the depiction, period.
Yeah, I think the levels of vulnerability to the character really came to the forefront throughout. And I think that's something that we don't often see. And that's often like I don't even need to really like compare it to the previous iteration of it, but I just think you kind of needed like you said, you needed the corny, you needed the vulnerability, you needed some of the anger, you needed him not being prepared to answer questions from Lois, assuming that that interview will go well because that's the woman that loves him and that's the woman that he loves. Like that, he really went into that thinking like it was going to be like a
because he kind of
softball
dumb.
question.
He kind of dumb. Like, and like I said, I don't even mean it. I know that sounds insulting, but I truly mean it in the sweetest, like, oh, Rob Gronkowski showed up to the party type of way. Like, we don't need him to be smart and savvy and cynical. I actually like that he earnestly thought, no, honey, we're gonna have a nice polite chat. Like when I interview myself, and she's like, nigga, I'm a poser winning journalist. I got real questions for your infinite powers. It was beautiful.
He thought he
Yeah.
was going to be able to charm his way through the interview, and she turned into work mode. Like I'm talking to you like I would interview Donald Trump. Like, no, I'm going to ask you these hard hitting questions, and
Right.
you're not going to be able to charm your way out of that. And I just thought that was to put him on the back foot. Somebody else made this comparison, so I'm stealing it. But like comparing that to the scene in the original Superman where she shows up at his house, but she's the one on the back foot. She's charmed by Clark
Yeah.
and by Superman. He's flying. She's asking, "Can you see the color of my underwear?" Like she is the one on the back foot, and to flip that and make it so that she is the one that's putting pressure on him, and he is the one that's like, "Oh shit!" Like I can't actually keep up in this interaction. It's just such a smart decision.
Yeah, 1000%. But Teach, while you're at it, let me know what you thought of the character and your interpretation of what Gunn's interpretation of the character was.
Could you ever imagine the Snyder Superman saving a squirrel?
No.
It would
Hell
look
no.
so stupid
No.
in that movie.
God.
It'd be black and white. The squirrel would have an angry face on. The squirrel would have sharp claws. Like the shit wouldn't even make sense, bro. That is the difference. That is the difference. Gunn doesn't create those hyper masculine dude bro characters. That's just not the kind of filmmaker he is.
Right.
So
yeah.
he understands you do need that corniness, you do need that quirk, but you also need that sense of humility. You need that sense of I am a human. I'm not just a god lording over your planet. And in fact, Gunn flips that on his head and says, I'm going to make that the primary attention point of my film.
Yeah.
The primary tension point between Superman and the way the public feels about him is the public's perception of what he wants to accomplish. He's saving squirrels out there. He saves old ladies. He's saving dogs. He's saving all life forms out there in the streets. It don't matter. He's hitting layups. He's hitting threes. It don't matter what the shot is. I got to just make the shot. I got to save the life. And that makes him so different than what they try to flip later, which is you were actually sent here to lord over this planet and do as you will. And making that the primary tension point is not just a smart narrative decision in this movie. It's a mission statement of who this Superman is compared to previous versions of Superman. And obviously, all of us are walking into the movie theater with Snyder's Superman in the back of our brains. Hopefully way, way, way in the back because that shit fucking stinks. But and it's not about the performer because I think people generally liked his iteration of Superman or what he was trying to do, but he was being written for by Zack Snyder and his fucking dude bro homeboys who couldn't make a movie that was good or coherent. So his decision to make this guy feel this guy's punk rock, but he's listening to like the worst possible versions of punk rock. He's a softie inside. He's the 2025 version of what a man looks like and what you put a man like on screen. And that's just a smart decision to make him that way. I love the way he portrayed Superman.
The thing is, I think my like big take that I had the second time I came out of the movie was like Superman movies are always in their way a Jesus allegory. That's just always the way that they're going to be. But this felt like the first one that realized the thing that makes Jesus compelling, the thing that is Jesus is important, is less that Jesus is God and more that Jesus is man. This is the one that is about Snyder's like doesn't care that Jesus is God at all. It's like and like even the Reeve ones, which are good, it's like it's all about like he's a god, what am I gonna do? Or the Bryan Singer one is about like the burdens of being God, but this is like no. For all intents and purposes, the life that Clark Kent lived for most of his life is more similar to a man than a god in almost every respect. Right? Like other than like his abilities and like this piece of lore that he knows about himself. He grew up in Kansas, he loves, he feels like he relates more to his fellow man than he would like if he were to go back to Krypton, he would be more alienated from those people than he would the people he lives among on Earth. And so I think that centering that Superman is a man is so important, and that's what makes the character interesting. Because so often, like the refrain I've heard a million times, and I've even said it, is like Superman is a hard character to make a movie about because he's not interesting, he's all powerful, yada yada, right? And I think that was really exacerbated with the Snyder version because they basically made him completely, like not motivated by altruism and things like that. And so like, what is his motivation other than just like to be powerful, right? Like that is I think the worst. That is like Superman's biggest detractors version of Superman, a Superman who has no ethical code except punch, punch, punch. And this is like, he can be literally indestructible because emotionally and psychologically he's as destructible as the rest of us. Like he is not godlike in his mind, right? And he shouldn't be because his desire to be good is the same thing that makes him vulnerable. And I think that what James Gunn clearly came into it thinking is like, okay, clearly, so for years and years and years, especially in the 21st century, people have approached the idea of Superman just being altruistically good, wanting to be good for the sake of being good is unrealistic. Like, that's kind of the way people feel about it. Like, no one is altruistically good for no reason. And James Gunn was like, what if we were to stipulate that he is? And then the conflict of the movie is how the world reacts to that. Because the world is the one who's cynical, right? Like, the world is cynical and refuses to believe that he is actually just altruistically good, that he actually could have as much power as he has and want to use it for good. Like, it is actually in some, well, I think the movie's very positive. I think in some ways it's almost an indictment of humanity to be like, if humanity could see someone who's all powerful and see that they are choosing to use that power for good and to be skeptical of it, that reflects really poorly on you, right? That you think that, and that's why it reflects so poorly on Lex, that Lex can't conceive of the idea of someone wanting to be altruistic. And I think just taking that literally and not coming up with some like, but actually he's this out of there. It's like, no, he just is as good as he seems on paper, and let's make a movie about that. That's why it works so well for me, and that's what Corn Sweat really gets across, because like there is going to be some righteous anger if you are good. Like you're not going to be all smiles all the time if you're good, because there is evil in the world. And I think that just like him deciding like, I'm going to play this as a human, not as like a posing. There's no big pose hero shots. I mean, there are a couple, but like it's not about iconography. It's about like the fact that he is an icon. But every minute we spend with him, whether he's Clark or Superman, he reveals himself to be human. The way he interacts with every character.
Yeah, I think everything that you guys said kind of figures into my larger feeling on it was the idea of cynicism and stan culture. It's like a really interesting look at it. This movie is because you have people who love Superman at the outset, and then they hear this message, and they're like, "Wait a minute!" So it shows you how stan culture changes and how people just kind of like switch sides when they want to. And then to Jake's point, as far as the cynicism is concerned, I think Lex Luthor is an avatar not only for the worst people among us, but for us generally, because we have that same look. In fact, we're going through that right now in this city in New York with a mayoral candidate who kind of there's a little bit of a parallel to that whole like, wait a minute, this guy can't be that good. He just can't be that good. There's no way he can be that good. That's how we react to these things. It just reminds me. You know what is a great example? I had a conversation with somebody. I can't remember who it was. Like it was kind of like in another Discord that we have, not the MC University Discord, but it was about somebody on Twitter who comes off as just a very nice person and seems like the greatest person in the world. And then this person who I was talking to, I can't trust somebody like that. They don't curse. They don't do anything like that. I'm just like, yo, this is where you find out. Like, it doesn't matter who you are at the end of the day. There's always going to be some type of cynic. And that's the funny part about the whole Snyder Bros thing, because they play into that thing too. Like, it's just amazing how you can get all of these different aspects of whether it's outside the movie or inside the movie, and you still can get the same lesson and message. So I think when you see Superman the character and not only his vulnerabilities playing out, but when you see Lex be so dismissive, so the hatred is just off the charts.
Mount Rushmore movie.
Let me tell you. I mean, I said it about like an hour or two ago. This man was calling plays like Andy Reid.
But the thing, my take is, because I said there were some questions about like who's the bigger hater, Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3 or Lex Luthor, and someone's like, well, Eddie Brock, literally was crying, praying for God to kill Peter Parker. That's a bigger hater. And it's like, I get that, but actions speak louder than words, in my opinion. And the thing is, in 99% of superhero media, the way it goes is being against a superhero is a cover for a big scheme, right? No. Lex caused a fucking international incident just out of hate. He's like, no, I'm making up an internet. I'm creating a war because I hate your ass so much. It's not the other way around. Like, I will cause a destabilization of a region because I hate your ass so much. It's pure hate. It's unbelievable.
He knew he would show up. And, like, that's the thing, too, Jake, when you're talking about when people kind of go at Superman, they'll be like, well, he's not interesting because he's all powerful. But that's the thing. He's not all powerful. He just can't. He won't die. but his goals is to keep everybody from being fucked up, and he can't accomplish that. One of the dopest parts of this movie is that last fight where Green Lantern and the Justice Gang show up because he can't be there, and he's inspired them to get off the sidelines and go do some heroing that's like unsanctioned, and just because it's the right thing to do, right? Like his real power is being a punching bag. That's why I say that cartoon that everyone thought was like, mid or not as good as Batman, which I understand, but I always thought that shit was dope because like every episode is just him getting fucked up. like he's a guy that never, like, he has all these superpowers. He don't even want to use them when he show up. He really be trying to talk to motherfuckers like, hey man, for real though, you don't have to rob this bank. Like he really think he can convince people to do the right thing just by being a symbol for righteousness. And I love in the movies when like he's getting his eyes lasered out before he even decides to use his own heat vision, because it's like he wouldn't show up and heat vision everyone to death. That's not what he does. He's the guy that shows up and goes, I'm gonna punch you with 3% of my power. Why would I punch you with 100%? That's who he is. And I thought they nailed that part of like who he is. He's a guy who's sacrificing himself. He's the fullback for the world, not the running back.
From saving the squirrel to having a bit of the disagreement with the Justice Gang about what to do with the kaiju, that type of stuff is what fits the character, and that's why it feels like such a refreshing take, because it feels so earnest and honest.
Buddy helping him up after he got slammed into that pit. That's
Yes.
Superman. Like this dude that he's so fucking strong, but he's putting it all on the line, and it's just like a random, taxi driver, hot dog salesman, or somebody being like, hey man, I got you, bro. That's who he is. He inspires people, and Gunn just, he knew he got it, man. Like Snyder was the opposite of that. He was like, people would fear him and he'd be uninspiring, and thus he'd be uninspired. And who the fuck want to see a superhero who's uninspired? You know what I mean? This ain't Hancock.
Even if you look at Man of Steel, like how much of that movie is about what Superman thinks about what the people think of him?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really not about that, right? Like it's kind of about his relationship to Zod and his relationship to his parentage and his homeland, but it's not really. There are some parts that are about Superman's relationship to the people of Earth, but it's not really about that. This movie is all about that. Yeah. This is the heart of this movie, is what Superman is to the people and what people are to Superman. And this is a Superman who's in pain. Not only is he getting his ass whooped, but he's in a lot of emotional pain about everything. And that is just such a smart way to. I have probably said 100 times in my life, Superman doesn't make interesting fodder because he has too many powers. But this movie, he keeps all those physical powers, but they kind of strip him of everything else, and they kind of strip him bare. Even, it's very on the nose, but even the last monologue at the end, he's saying, I am a human just like you. You view me as something, Lex Luthor, because you're a hater and because you fear me and because you're envious of me, but I'm just like you. And in fact, your biggest strength is that you are human as well. You just aren't tapping into that part because you think your strengths lie elsewhere. But both of our biggest strengths is that we put our pants on and we take one step forward at a time and we try to figure this shit out. We make a lot of mistakes, but we're able to progress and make it to the next day. And humanizing Superman on that kind of level is just that goes past like this guy understands the character. That's like this guy. He said he wants to make this movie for years and years and years. He's probably been thinking about how to present this for a decade now. But this is the best possible time for this movie to exist because it felt so current, not just because of its allusions to things that are actually happening in this country and other countries, but it felt so current. And the way that masculinity is presented in this movie, I don't think might work 10 years ago, or at least not as successfully as it did in this movie.
Yeah, it's very timely. It's very timely. You feel that's why people who said it's very politically charged, and it's just like, what? No, it's because you're feeling everything because you see what's going on every day. That's why that stuff is hitting the way that it is. And I think the point of, I was thinking about Smallville, the show, and I'm glad you referenced it, Teej, because the Jor-El message, it reminded me of season 2 of Smallville, the Christopher Reeve episode where Clark finally gets that message, and the message says, it starts off the first half the same way and it ends the same way, like rule with strength and all that other stuff. So that's a very complicated situation to deal with. And granted, I get that people of Earth are scared, but the way that Lex co-opts that message and turns it into something completely different, and then divorces it from Superman and kind of his ideals, and the fact that he's grown up with the Kents, he's grown up with these loving parents that have quite honestly made him the person who he wouldn't be if he were still on Krypton. So I think that's the great part about that message. So I'm glad that they were able to find a great way to make that
even
message
with
matter.
the even with the message, right? Like his big conflict is I've been a hero based off of like a few words in a VHS from Krypton. You know what I mean? Like it made sense that it fucked with him. You know what I'm saying? And I love that they went out the way to authenticate it. Like it wasn't just because I think we all had the same thought. Okay, so Lex is a hater.
He fucked with it.
Yeah.
He doctored it. Yeah.
And then it's like everyone is like, no, it's real. No, it's real. Mr. Terrific, it's real. Like everybody says it's real. And I like that it did bother him because you would think like, oh, you just brushed that off. Who gives a fuck? You've been doing this. But he was like, well, if I've made my identity off of this shit, then who am I? Who are my people? What the fuck did they want? This is some Brightburn shit. It reminded me of Batman, the newest Batman, Matt Reeves one, where Batman finds out that his parents was kind of in some gang shit. And so that reverence for the Waynes was like, right. The reverence for the Waynes wasn't, it was like, it was a thing that was holding him back essentially. And you have to think it's the nature versus nurture, right? In that case, Alfred was his real moral compass. And in this way, the Kents is his real moral compass. It's more about found family and nurture versus nature.
And I mean, obviously, I'm sure there are takes people who have read the comics. I don't know what the history is. I'm assuming on some iteration of Superman has probably existed where this is the case. But I thought, as someone who did not grow up with the comics and doesn't have any particular relationship to Jor-El, and I apologize, I forget his mother's name, Laura. Yeah, Laura. That I thought it was a really interesting. I honestly loved it as a choice because I think that once again, I think it really was centering his humanity, and I think in some way, I think that like it allows Superman to be fully a man because if he was sent there to be like a protector of Earth and like to shepherd the people of Earth, that still is not the same thing as living among them. And like I think it actually like that, like he is the way he is because he was raised right and because he has a good moral compass, not because of some edict that was delivered by someone he never met before. Now I will say, shouts to James Gunn for getting Bradley Cooper to do a day. That's the great thing about James Gunn. Like you can tell he's just great to work with because like he calls in more favors than anyone who's ever lived. But like he got Bradley Cooper to fly because he had to fly out to like London to do it in like a 3D because they actually made an actual hologram, so they had to like shoot it in like a 3D chamber. I also do
like Cooper. He works with the same damn people. He did everybody in the movie, and every one of his movies is the same damn cast. I love that. He's obviously great to work for.
But also, when he gets that revelation about his parents, it's not like you in the movie theater ever feel that he's struggling with like, will I become a conqueror now? Like it doesn't. No, of course not. He's obviously still a good person. It's just he's now like, fuck, what the fuck was up with that? You know what I'm saying? like, that's basically his only conflict was like, Dad, you ain't gonna believe this shit. And he's like, bro, that ain't even, don't even trip off of that. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, 1000%. All right, so we talked a little bit about Lex being a hater, but I just want to get into Nicholas Holt's performance because I just say, hey man, that was incredible.
Elite work.
From start to finish. And I think Jake said it the other day. Assuming, I mean, obviously we're probably gonna get this sequel. Don't put Lex on the sidelines. Let's have him right back in there. He got to come back somehow. If you got to bring in Metallo or Parasite just to kind of be like a underboss type situation. Yeah, we could do that. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult got to be here for the for the duration of this. And also, like, remember Nicholas Hoult tried to get the part of Superman.
And
So
also,
it's-
let's not forget too, he was number 2 for the Batman and in the top 3 for Superman. The man but he found the right role. He found the right role.
That is so fucking perfect to cast that guy in the biggest hater of Superman. You're eliciting a once of a lifetime performance if you're able to put him in that position. He is the more famous person. Obviously, he's way more famous than Corn Sweat. He made more money than Corn Sweat, but Corn Sweat is still Superman. And that level of meticulousness in who you're casting and bringing that to him and eliciting that performance, that is GOAT level director shit. I love that. That's just phenomenal.
You know what else was the same thing? You know who else auditioned for the lead of a superhero movie and then played the villain? Tom Hiddleston, one of the best villains in the MCU. It's a great way of casting villains. It's just, I mean, it's a tried and true method.
And you know who else? Michael B. Jordan. It's Killmonger. Okay,
Michael
I
B.
made
Jordan.
that up, but it felt that way. It felt that way.
Yeah. It felt that way. It's not true, but it could have been.
Yeah, but it could have been.
No, honestly, the
True,
idea
it could be.
I've turned a lot on Michael B. Jordan as an actor. Sinners, he's great. He would not have done the Wakandan accent. It would have been a problem.
We saw what happened and What If.
I mean, listen, Ryan Coogler and him are tight. So I feel like when Ryan got that gig, Michael probably was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get to be T'Challa," and Ryan had to talk him in like, "Oh, I got an even better idea, bro."
Yes, like, no man, I think it'd be better. Like, this is actually the better part if you think about it.
Really, the villain is who people really want to be.
You only had to be on set for 28 days as opposed to 2 months.
The thing I did love about because I've watched a lot of the press for this movie because honestly it's been great. The vibes, I knew the movie was gonna be good because the vibes between the big three, incredible. And the thing that Nick Holt said because they were doing a thing where like the interview where the cast answers the 50 most Googled questions about Superman, and one of them is why is Lex Luthor bald? And the answer is there's a bunch of different reasons. And the thing that really stood out to me is he said that in his mind the reason Lex Luthor is bald in this is because he thinks it looks cool. And I'm like, that actually says a lot about the character. He didn't have some accident befall him. He didn't have. It's like no, he might have just been a little bit bald, and he's like, I'm gonna straighten my head. And I think it looks cool. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly who this guy is. You know, notice how when they go to Antarctica to go to the Fortress of Solitude, he doesn't need to show up in like a fucking awesome fit with the glasses. No, he thinks he has as much vanity as Superman does. He's not just like a meek nerd. He thinks he should be the cool dude who's on posters.
He thinks he's better than that man, and that's what I love. And when James Gunn initially said that this Lex Luthor character was going to be based off of a person hating AI, I just like, oh, okay, I already know what time it is. This shit gonna be fire. This was a couple months before when I seen this, so when he came out like initially, and we see kind of just all of the general hatred that he has for Superman and everybody who loves Superman. Like, oh my gosh, it's just so good. Especially, we get Superman monologuing at the end of that movie. And he's giving us like some really great true justice in the American way type of shit. And Lex stopped all that shit and said, get the fuck out of here with this. I don't want to hear none of this shit. And then we had a reenactment. We had a reenactment of the Avengers with the Hulk Loki moment with Crypto and Lex. It was pretty funny, but go ahead, Rod.
With Lex was one, that Nicholas Hoult tear when he lost. That rageful tear. It wasn't a tear of regret. It wasn't a tear of like, it was a tear of pure rage of like, and like, even like right before he gets the speech, he basically tells Superman, I know you won't kill me. I'm going to get you. I don't know when. I don't know how. I'm just going to keep fucking trying. I don't care about these rules and shit that you think that exist in the universe. The other thing is like Lex is the one grooming the planet to take it over, right? Like it's not Superman.
Yeah.
He tells the world like Superman's got you out here thinking that he the shit, but really he's evil and he's trying to take everything over. Meanwhile, that's exactly Lex's plan to destroy Superman so he can be the one running the world. And the other thing is he's evil with a capital E. When he kills Buddy with that gun.
Oh man.
Fam, I legitimately did not think that was gonna happen. And
neither did I.
It's the cowardness.
I was like, they're not doing that.
Right. Because I'm like, it's kind of still a kid's movie, and Superman will find a way. But it's all, like, and Buddy was like ready to die. He was on some like, I don't got no family, Superman. Like I'm like I would not have volunteered. That buddy dude was down for the cause in a way that I would not have been.
Superman, please save me. I have 13 children. Save
I would have
me.
been crying.
I sell falafel.
Right. Bruh, the way I would have been blubbering in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, let's don't do it.
So, I have a podcast. People like it. I do a bit where I put my Photoshop Jason Whitlock. People think it's funny.
And so, like, Lex killing Buddy and going, damn, I didn't think that would happen or whatever.
That's the coldest. That's the
coldest.
And
then he goes,
do you remember? Yeah.
He's like, I'll be back with someone else you love in a second.
Yes.
And so my final thing, I'll pass it to you, Jake.
Yeah.
The thing that so many superhero movies have done lately, it's almost like a trope. It's not even just movies, it's comic books, everything. The villain is always the hero, but one thing was different. Like, yes. I actually have the same goal. I would like to protect the earth as well, Iron Man. I'm just going to do it through fascism. This nigga is not a reflection of Superman. He just fucking evil. Like, there's nothing that happened to Lex that made Lex be how he is, except he just had good goals. He just has evil fucking goals, and we needed that. We don't need, like, we got to stop making it so that the bad guy is like a empathy, like our empathy goes to him too. And man, would have been nice if he would have. Nah, fuck that. If you let this guy keep doing what he's doing, it'll always turn out bad because he's bad.
That wormhole shit was crazy, but go ahead, Jake.
What it reminded me of that moment where he says, I thought it would take longer, is a moment that I love in The Departed, which Matt Damon has talked about in interviews, where at one point when like Jack Nicholson and Ray Winston are like executing someone on the beach and they shoot her in the head and Jack Nicholson says, she fell weird. And that makes him the most evil person in the world because it's like he kills enough people where he knows how people normally fall. And in this moment where it's like Lex saying, I thought that would take longer, he's so disconnected with the fact he took someone else's life that he is making meta commentary on him killing someone. Like it's like not, because that's like they don't need to have that many people die in this movie. And I saw a tweet at some point out, which I think is a really fair criticism of Marvel too. Like, when was the last time that human life was treated so sacred in a superhero movie that one person dying who is not a main character was treated as like a shouting moment? Right? That like the movie has
Superman cried when the robots got fucked up.
Word.
Oh, shouts to
the
Alan
robots don't even have. They was like, we don't even got feelings. We automatons. This motherfucker was cradling the body of the robot. Like, no, number 4, not number 4. That's my dog.
Oh my goodness, what a time, man! Like this is. Yeah, there's just so many positive vibes that this movie gives, like throughout. And I mean,
2 more things about Lex. Sorry, he hates women.
No, go keep
because it's important. He hates women. Like
he locked up his ex-girlfriends. That's insane, bro.
That's
insane,
and it's important. You know what I'm saying? This is a time like when you like as Teej said. This shit is a treatise on masculinity and toxic masculinity and what real positive protective masculinity looks like. This nigga locks up his exes, okay? Like, just in a fucking zone that no one can go to but him and his science team. They are locking up his exes, dog. That's crazy. And the other thing, it was a throwaway line. It was cute. It was probably too on the nose for people, but I liked it. The fucking monkey angry bots on the internet controlling public perception of this guy who is heroic.
That was Gunn living his raps. That was about
Wasn't
Gunn.
it?
Gunn made himself Superman. He literally made himself Superman.
Wasn't it, dog?
It
was
I like that's. Yeah, I love the to your point, Rod. Like the commentary. You know, like it feels more pointed than it is. Like I said, because we're living in these times and we see it. But I thought he just had a very depth touch on putting that stuff in the movie and making it seem not like overstuffed or anything or something that just seems out of place. It just fit with where we are culturally and as a society, to be honest.
Did y'all feel because obviously we know Gunn, when he was with Disney, people found some old tweets that were comedic in nature. Yep. He got fired off of Guardians.
This was fired. Yeah. This was covered on. There's a great TikTok show that talks about tweets, and it was covered on Thursday in celebration of this movie coming out.
So
if you want the context.
So obviously the trolls on the internet were able to turn the tide against him within Disney, so that he got fired. And people should have been more looking at what his deeds were as opposed to these trolls. And so obviously when I saw those monkeys, I laughed, but my second thought was like, oh, like James Gunn is making that about himself.
Yeah.
Like, that is a
You clever
James Gunnism.
bastard.
But that's the best way directors make movies.
Yeah.
Put yourself into the damn movie. It's always a good decision.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That commentary.
Unless
yeah,
you're Zack Snyder, then you take yourself out a little bit.
That's a really good point. If you're Zack Snyder, literally remove all sense of yourself from the film.
I don't see Batman working out with the fucking kettlebells, bro. We got it.
Other than him working out, though, everything I've ever heard about Zack Snyder is that he's one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. So it's like, it's so weird that he makes these movies. Like, by all accounts, he's extremely pleasant. Like, that's why everyone came back for his version of the Justice League, because they're like, yeah, we loved him, we hated Joss Whedon. So it's so weird that he makes these, like, bro, like, shitty, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we've gone far enough without, like, really talking about Lois Lane and her performance in this movie.
It's her movie. It's her movie. She is fucking perfect. Her grasp of that character is out of work. I thought the two guys did a great job in their roles. I thought that she was pitch perfect. I thought she was phenomenal.
Incredible casting there. Jake, any thoughts on Rachel's performance in this movie? Because really enjoyed it.
Yeah, one thing I liked about her character is that I think it was really aided by the fact that they started it with her already knowing that Superman was Clark, because I think that there's a way that even if you introduce the idea of like hypno glasses or whatever, you make the character seem ditzy and dim by her not understanding. Even if it is like a plot mechanic. Right. I liked that she was in the know, and I liked that she was like resourceful, that she wasn't that like she was the plot driver of, obviously Mr. Terrific was like the main, like the muscle and the brains, but the reason why Clark ends up getting saved when he's in the prison is because she is active, that she is making decisions. And I think the biggest thing is just that her chemistry with Corn Sweat is impeccable.
Oh, that's insane.
And it's and I think that like it's really necessary, because if you don't have that, then like that's the easiest way. That's the easiest way to establish his love of humanity, is to give him a specific human to love. And you really believe that, like, even though they say they've been together for 3 months, I saw someone being like, he said I love you after 3 months. It's like, one, have you like met her? Like, she's an accomplished journalist who's beautiful and loves you, and like, yeah, I'm saying I love you after 3 months, I don't give a shit. But two, like, you believe it when they look at each other. You're like, yeah, this guy will never turn on humanity, because humanity includes Lois Lane.
Yes, go ahead.
Their chemistry was so potent in that first kiss in the apartment that when we got to the part where I realized that they're going to set up that they might break up, I literally did not believe it. I was like, there's no way that they're going to. Obviously, we're watching a comic movie. They're probably not going to break up. But I was like, their chemistry is so good. I don't even buy that storyline. Like I just thought their chemistry was that good off the bat. I was like, oh, wow, that something is popping off the screen. I just couldn't believe it.
I was like, damn, they was really getting into it there. I was like, oh goodness.
I don't know if they're single or not, but that would be hard to watch as one of their significant others. But that just goes to show you the chemistry they had, but also the level of performances they were giving.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, throughout the movie, and I can't remember who said it, but the fact that Lois was not really a damsel in distress. She was a driving force of helping Clark out and getting that situation figured out, using the resources of the Daily Planet. And
that's what I was
gonna
say. She's savvy in this, but not annoying, and that's a fine line with this character, because there's been so many depictions of her over the years, and I think many times, especially men write these movies normally, they end up writing her as like the girlfriend you kind of hate, but you gotta deal with her, but the old ball and chain, she's jumping up the side of a building. Now you gotta go save the crazy bitch, like I always kind of hated that depiction of her. And so this one, like, she's like adept in a way, because the other thing she does in this movie, and Gunn just nails this completely. They make it feel like Metropolis is a place where this crazy shit just happens. And she feels like a person that lives in a place where crazy shit be happening. So you might have to pop over to the Justice Gang and read them the riot act and be like, y'all ain't gonna help your boy? Like, that's your friend. What the fuck are y'all doing? Like, I don't have the powers. I'm not putting myself in some reckless amount of danger, like hopping on a Kryptonian spaceship or whatever the fuck they be having her doing. The Snyder's, like, her shit all made sense to me, and it never felt like, it felt like she was brave, not foolish. And that's just a very, very difficult line to do, because you have a character with no powers, no training, just her guts and her knowledge. And when she's like with Mr. Terrific and he gets to do that fucking amazing scene, like, you don't feel like, and then she's gonna pick up a gun. You just like, no, she's just the one who's driving us here. She's as driven as Superman when it comes to accomplishing her goals, but she's not like in the way or trying to like be the hero herself in that type of way. She's just heroic as a human would be. It's almost like they gave her a lot of what they would typically give a Jimmy in this role, like a little bit more in the field, in that thing. And I think it just really worked before you get to all the the kissing and whatnot.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And speaking of Jimmy Olsen, so immediately after seeing this movie, I gotta admit,
hey man, hold up, I gotta ask y'all, this actor, is it just like well known that he get hoes or something, or was this like a complete James Gunn invention?
No,
I know it's a Jimmy Olsen thing. It's a Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen got the hoes. That's canon.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, the joke is always, the joke is that Jimmy Olsen's kind of like a nerdy guy, and obviously Clark's right there, but the hoes always go for Jimmy Olsen. That's kind of the vibe.
All right, and, well, good for him, man. I don't know, like, I started laughing immediately, but I was like, have I just been slipping on Jimmy getting hoes like all this time? He been getting them? I mean, because it was like so the audience was not shocked. The audience was like, yeah, they want them.
It was so good. It was so great. And I have to say, like, after this movie aired, I said to myself, I'm definitely gonna ask Teej what he thought of this portrayal of Jimmy Olsen and everything. Yo, this dude is kind of freaked out, ain't he? He seemed like he a little freaked out. What you got, T?
He was great. I think his name is what? Skylar
Gisondo. Yeah. He's been around forever.
First of all, he's great and stuff. And the second time I saw this movie, I was with a woman who leaned over. There's the first time where they're in the office, you meet him for the first time, and the girls are by the coffee machine, and they're kind of like flirting with him, like, and so you kind of notice, like, oh, okay, like those women are attracted to him. She was like, oh, I really like him and stuff. I could definitely see that. So good casting there. I just thought this was hilarious. Like, this is a very hilarious part of the film. I like, if there is another Superman film, I would love to see another Superman film. I want more of this character. This character is so funny. The way they kind of pulled the storyline with him ending up being a love interest of Lex's crazy girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever she is. It's just so funny. The way he portrays it is so funny.
Pauses, man, when she was asking him, you want to spend some time together? And he was like, and the dead silence, the dead fucking silence for like 5 seconds. Dog. It was so
good. The biggest story of his life on the line, and he still had to pause for 15 seconds because he really doesn't want to hang with this woman. Bruh. That is fucking hilarious.
Bruh. Like, the movie was on the line, dude. Like, this motherfucker was saving the earth or a weekend with me, and he was like, hold up. I just need a second.
Let me think about that.
Oh my god, he had her as mutant toes in the phone. I was like, yo, what is going on?
He doesn't know. People are like, I saw a lot of people like, he's like, really, he doesn't like her, yada yada. It's like, no, you see the life he lives. He doesn't understand it. It is no big deal to him. He's evil, like just another, like, on his if you watch on his desk, there's a picture frame with a photo of him and 2 beautiful women, and he just looks completely disinterested. It's like, yeah, man, it's just, and the way I put it on Twitter is that if you're 7'2", it's not that notable to dunk. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he basically is Joker. He's like, I like to go back to racing my horses, dog. This MVP thing was cool, but like, when can I get back home?
Oh man, another version of Dave Chappelle's Prince. What you call it, playing basketball. basically that same shit too. Jimmy Olsen, man, what a character. But also the Justice Gang I wanted to get into because they were very interesting characters. Obviously, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Let me tell you,
phenomenal.
Let me tell you, man, I'm looking forward to seeing him. And when we get Lanterns, he's in that. We're going to be seeing a lot of him in the DCU. it's such a perfect version of that character because he really is such a dick. And just throughout the movie, he's an arrogant dickhead, and it's just the way he even talks to Superman. Like right after Superman finds like the message gets played and whatnot, and he start talking trash too, and he's like, "You want to go, Big Blue?" I was like, "What?" I was
Turn
like,
that
"Holy!"
shit up.
I was like, "What?"
That motherfucker had a bowl cut and aura. How? How?
He's
The
like-
thing where when he's like using his hands to knock over the tanks, and the ones keep giving middle fingers.
Middle
that's so-
fingers. I really want to see him interact with Peacemaker. I think him and Peacemaker and a riffing for 5 minutes would be fucking hilarious.
big
I need him to do that.
I mean, the funny thing is, we are getting that in about a month. So,
When-
like, that's, yeah.
When Lois makes fun of his haircut and he says 348 women would disagree, like he is absolutely the guy who would keep an exact count.
Yeah.
And it's just his whole vibe is just so funny. And I think that he really is like if you want to introduce a world where superheroes already exist, but Superman is still special, you have to establish that Guy Gardner is what a regular superhero is like. He's not that heroic. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
And so, like, of course people are going to love Superman, because if the alternative is Guy Gardner, then yeah, Superman's much better.
And it means something in the third act when he's inspired by Superman. You know what I mean? Like, because the whole time you're like, this motherfucker's really fitting to sit on his hands this whole goddamn movie. He's looking like, do we get paid to go out there? Then no. Good luck.
Oh man, yeah, he was great, and like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. But a lot of people's big winner in this movie was one Mr. Terrific.
Goddamn, Mr. Terrific.
He cooked. I don't need your help. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. That's fine.
And I don't know if you guys saw the interview. I don't know if it was the interview with Eddie Gathegi where he said that the script said to push him out of the way, and he said to the actors, like, "I'm gonna mush you." And then they did the scene, and then James Gunn got on the loudspeaker and was like, "Do it harder."
Dude, I have not been this happy for a brother to get a redo since Ahmad Best on Star Wars. Like, because he was Darwin in First Class. The only motherfucker that can't die is his superpower, and they kill him. It's like,
and they literally killed the unkillable black man. That's insane.
Bruh,
fucked up,
what
man.
the fuck? I was fucking with that movie until that moment too. Like, I thought they were cooking. And I was like, oh, so he gonna come back. I was at the end credits, like in the theater, like, so then he can't die. So like, was he gonna come back from an atom or some shit? And like, nah, they just killed him.
And it's not like everyone else. It's not like everyone else there is still like is essential. It's like Havoc or Banshee couldn't have died.
Right.
People really giving a shit about them,
Bruh. You know me, man. That's the one trope I hate. I hate killing a black person to teach the white people a lesson in any movie. It's like, and now the white people know I mean business, because I'll kill a brother. Like, get out of here, man. But yeah, man, the way he was eating, chewing up the scenery, that fucking fight scene with the
I think that's the best scene in the movie, honestly.
It really is, dude.
Oh yeah,
It's the coolest
so
fight scene in the movie,
clean,
and it's not
so clean.
Superman. That's insane.
Yeah, so clean.
Insane,
That's
bro.
insane.
That was beautiful.
Really enjoyed that performance. Yeah, I'm trying to as you scan through like the stuff with the wormhole.
I mean,
that was funny.
Justice Game, we got to talk about. I mean, I'm excited to see Hawkgirl going forward. They don't give her a lot, but they did give her the opportunity to kill Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, the president of Bolivia, and
he literally looks like Netanyahu. Like Gunn wasn't trying to pull that punch at all when he made that casting.
No, he didn't.
Someone
I love that
put out a clip from an article where it's like, but he said it wasn't. I was like, you think he would say it was? Because I just don't think like the confirmation is gonna be vibes, bro. It's not, you're not gonna get anyone to explicitly say, yes, I did make this about what's happening in Palestine.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see her, her and Peacemaker as well. They're bringing the whole gang. I think that's a really fun area to explore, and I like that. Like they don't give it to. The thing I liked about this a lot is that like it was in like a long running comic series. They had all these different separate characters, but there were no like MCU like scenes where it felt like the movie ground to a halt to give you exposition for characters that are not going to be that important in this movie, right?
Yeah,
like we only get as much Hawkgirl stuff as is necessary for this movie. Even if they're planning on using her in the future, there's no like flashback where we have to take 5 minutes to learn about Hawkgirl's sister. Like no, Hawkgirl's not that important for this movie. We're only going to use her as much as we're going to use her.
Jake, I'll do you one better, Jake. They don't do that for anybody.
No,
They don't do that for Supergirl. And that's the next movie. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
Nobody
version of this where
nobody
there's
gets
a
the
version of this where somebody
flashback.
says you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, geez. Standoff.
There's a version of this where someone at Marvel says, "Hey, you got to do 15 minutes on Supergirl in this movie. She's got to be in the. She's got to be on screen for 15 minutes. We got to set up the next thing." And you can tell Gunn is operating without having to do that. We're gonna get to know Supergirl when it's time, but it ain't right for this movie right now.
And what they give you, honestly, is just as good. I want to see her movie.
And none of it serves as an origin story, like, because that. And for the record, I'm not knocking this because I think when Marvel does it great, it's like it's Black Panther and like Civil War, and you're just like, bam, you can just hit the next Black Panther movie running. You ain't got to do shit. So like when it works, it is awesome. But to be at the beginning, there's a lot riding on this Superman movie, and Gunn did say this in interviews, and I see it on the screen. He wanted to make a complete movie. He didn't want to make a franchise set piece of, and then we can launch this and then we can launch that. Because that stuff is going to happen. It's a given. And I've always said that the Justice League cartoons, to me, is the height of DC storytelling. And if you look at why those cartoons work, those movies especially, they all work because they don't fucking explain. They're just like, who's watching this that don't know who Superman is? Right. So Superman shows up and you just start right there. And that's how this felt. It was, they don't explain what a Green Lantern is, what they do, how their powers work. Hawk Girl, even Mr. Terrific smartass. Like, we don't know why his shit work like it worked. We just know it worked. And kaijus are in here, fucking glowing eye things are in the background. Like, they just made this feel lived in a way that needed no explanation. And that was beautiful.
You know what it felt like? It felt like a movie about Superman that was made by people in the universe that this movie takes place in.
Yes.
We don't need to explain what kaijus are, because kaijus, like, if you were to make a movie in this universe, for example, you don't need to explain that America has 50 states and there are 50 governors and hundreds, because we all know that, right?
Right.
In the same way, like, if you're making a movie in this universe, you don't need to explain who the Justice Gang are. We all know that. And also, like, there's a brief moment where a cameo I really enjoyed that I noticed it the second time is, and this is why I love James Gunn, because he can do these small cameos and doesn't make a huge deal of it. You know the bit where they're like, the Justice Gang, which is run by Maxwell Lord, you know who plays that reporter? Christopher Reeve's son.
Will
Reeve. The thing about that is, like, it's not like he doesn't do, like, the little Easter eggs or whatever, but there's just such a confidence that he has in his storytelling. Or like he can have the Peacemaker show up, which that might have been the biggest laugh that we got. Also, shouts to fucking.
It wasn't mine too.
Shouts to Michael Ian Black playing basically Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
One of the funniest performances in the movie. But like he can do that because he creates a world where these are all the correct. Like Peacemaker would be the person to show up to talk about. Like he just is. He has the confidence in the tapestry that he's creating. That like none of it is gratuitous because. He's just like, well, if I were need a news report which Chris has Superman, do I have a hero in this universe that would do it? Yes, I do. Peacemaker, you know?
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where when comic books themselves are at their best, they have the stories where, you will get a Hawk Girl. Yeah, you might get a Mr. Terrific. You might get some of these characters, but they never feel like they're in your face or like a part of the story. Like I'll tell you, one of the things that I could not stand because I never even got to talk about that because I was away for Captain America Brave New World was right at the beginning where they do this super exposition on where Betty Ross has been and where Thunderbolt Ross has been. Betty, my daughter, I heard like 5 times. It's like, dog, all right. I've seen these movies. I know what's going on.
10-minute exposition dump to start your film. I said, "Oh Lord, bro, we are in for a time."
I feel bad for that film just because the amount of shit that went wrong in the world. that film was fucked, bro. It was no way that film was going to.
I'll be honest with you. If you told me that they shot 7 hours of actual footage for the movie, I'd believe you. Like that's not. I think if you told me they shot 2.5 movies, I believe you. Hey,
me too. Yeah. I don't know how you make it into something that works.
And I love James Gunn's like backhanded thing at Marvel when he was asked like, how does he make his movies like on budget on time? He's like, because you don't start shooting until you have a script. And like, I mean,
also there's there's some unsung heroes in that Brave New World booth that we'll never know. Because there's just some people
Uh-huh.
that were like, take this out. Don't.
Mhm.
Like, we'll never know and we'll never give them credit because we didn't see the worst version.
You know what?
But
Well, I just give you a
I
great
know
idea.
that there's a worse version.
People win Oscars for turning a 7 out of 10 movie into a 10 out of 10 movie. We need to give people Oscars for turning a 2 out of 10 movie into a 5 out of 10. Because that's as Herculean a task. You know what I mean? It's like when you're like, well, you know, this basketball player, the team only had like, you know, 40-something wins, but that team was garbage. Like,
Dude, I want to be
they're all great in the world. Save that.
I want to be a fly on the wall for
Mm.
the editor of that movie's next job interview.
Mhm.
Because like when they're like, so you worked on Captain America Brave New World and now you want to work on my film, so what did you do? It's like, motherfucker, sit down, hold up. Okay.
I don't understand.
Okay. So
I got the laminated briefcase with everything.
Let me ask you this. How much you know about Palestine? Okay. Start there.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I think to go back to Superman, like I think that like a benefit of having the basically co-head of the studio and the writer and the director be the same person is like everything is just like so confidently done. And from all accounts, James Gunn is a very collaborative guy. And I think that that's like what Marvel is at its best is it is collaborative, but it's collaborative because there's a structure that allows it to be. You can't be thrown shit at the wall if you don't have a thing to fall back on. And clearly, like they had a very coherent idea of what they're doing. But if you listen to any stories about what went on, it was very like on the day they're coming up with new stuff. And it just felt like it was made a lot like a regular movie. It wasn't made like a big piece of franchise machinery. And I think that it is really successful for that reason. I think you get it down to every performance. Like the fact that like I'm a huge fan of movies where there's like 20 characters that you can name. I've always joked it's one of the reasons why Boogie Nights is one of my favorite movies of all time. Is there's like 20 characters who are like I love that guy, and this movie really goes like 20 deep. Like you got fucking Cat Grant has moments. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean,
and also mentioned Crypto yet. Crypto was star of the movie.
Star of the movie. Yeah. You got talk about Metamorpho, which I mean, honestly, great performance from Anthony Kerrigan. Like genuinely, in like 3 minutes, you're like really sympathetic to him.
I wrote that
which is hard because he's under so much makeup, but you're like you feel for the guy.
And when shout out to practical effects for his suit, that was dope. No CGI. And when that motherfucker started crying, dog, I felt it. Like that buddy got killed, and he was like, "What the fuck? This motherfucker crazy!
That shit coming?
Right. Oh man, motherfucker crazy! He killed that dude. He didn't even care. What am I doing helping him? Like, that was beautiful, man.
Yeah, I mean, you could, you go through. I mean, even Steve the sports report. We ain't even.
Shouts to Beck Bennett. I'm so glad. He was when he was on SNL. I'm the only person who watches SNL regularly. I assume he was always one of my favorites, and I feel like he's never gotten a big movie career. Mostly because he's like 5'5", but he's so funny. I mean, the bit where he's talking about his cat, where it's like, put her on the phone. Cats can recognize your voice. And like, why don't I have a seat?
And even like. In that scene where he saves baby Joey, like that, like, cause that's a Superman story. Superman can't die. You know what I mean? Baby Joey can truly die. Like that little baby is in another fucking dimension and everything's trying to kill it. And it just becomes like, how much pain is Superman willing to tolerate after being partially revived to save a baby that he don't know? Like that's who Superman is.
Yeah.
I mean, I
believe Baby Joey didn't die.
I think that is actually my least favorite sequence in the movie because I think it's really goopy CGI wise, and I think it gets away from a principle that actually makes the Lois Lane Mr. Terrific scene so good, which is I believe that the more CGI you put in the frame, the more realistic your camera moves have to be, and I feel like it simultaneously has like super crazy fake camera shit and like the goopy river or whatever. It really was really hard to follow what was going on, which is the thing I never would say about Gunn's other action scenes. So I feel like that lacked real, especially the second time. I'm like, I actually don't know like how far are they from the black hole, like what is actually the threat, like what is actually going to happen if they go under this, like the stakes of it weren't so clear to me. Now I'm famously
CGI like blind, so like good bad, well, I mostly can't tell,
but it looked great because
I'm not arguing it. I'm not arguing with you. I'm literally saying that's why I'm not going to argue with you. What I'm trying to point out though is the point of Superman. That's what conveyed to me is.
Oh no, I absolutely agree. I think the stakes are great.
yeah, like I don't know what happened. I don't even know if he knows what happens if they go in that hole. But he know it ain't good, and he know baby Joey can't fucking make it out the hole, and he's just getting fucked up. And he just the only thing he can do is hold the baby up and just get fucked up. And I'm like, that's who he is. That's like,
Yeah.
I feel like another director, there's a different choice there, and it's Superman getting revenge or going after Lex or you save the baby, y'all do. Like he's as you said, Mr. Terrific has the best action scene in the film. That it kind of matters because I think Superman, it's hard for Superman to have the best action scene because truly he can't fucking die.
I totally agree with that. He has 4 moves, bro. He
Yeah.
has 4 moves. That's why Lex knows every move.
I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Lex is up there like
A1,
L2, hit the L2 button, square, circle.
It's why a moment I really like in Superman 2, because I actually watched all of them. I never watched any of the Reeve movies before 2 weeks ago, and I watched all of them. And even though Superman 2 is obviously really mixed because the director got fired halfway through and it's like part of it sucks, but I think a moment I like in it is after he gives up his powers, he like gets into an argument at like a restaurant and gets like the shit kicked out of him because it's like, right, he doesn't know how to fight because why would you like?
Why would he ever
it's like when a 7-footer doesn't have any skills in the paint because it's like you never had to. Like,
right. and of course, in order to make him compelling, they have to depower him in that sequence for that movie for that to work. Is he can't have his powers, then it's like, who is he without his powers?
And so that's why the idea of like, I personally, because I'm not familiar with the comics, I saw a lot of people being like, I guess the Ultraman twist already. I mean, I didn't see it coming because I wasn't really thinking about it. But I think that like that was a good choice of making his villain because it's like, okay, you don't need to depower him. Because that's always the thing with Superman thinks. It's like, before the climax, someone's going to introduce kryptonite. And it's like, okay, well, like if he's fighting himself.
It seems like there's not a lot of kryptonite in the world anymore, apparently.
Oh, yeah, the one I love is when the one secretary or whatever was like, what's that kryptonite stuff called?
Yeah, that was funny.
I had the same gripe as Jake, especially the second time watching the Proton River scene down there in the Pocket universe. I already saw Ant-Man and Quantumania, and I didn't necessarily love it that time, and I didn't necessarily need it this time. When it comes to the Ultraman thing, I wasn't thinking about it, and like watching it the second time, I realized like I didn't think twice about how Lex got into the Fortress of Solitude, so it makes sense that he had someone with his DNA. But it feels like because Superman's rogue gallery of actual fighters is super low because he's obviously Superman, so people who try to go against Superman usually use other means. They use kryptonite or they're smarter than him, and Superman gets tricked all the fucking time. Like he's easily tricked, so people are trying to outsmart him. So to have him actually try to fight someone, it's like, who are you going to put out there for Superman to fight that there's going to be stakes in it?
And that's why they always be saving Darkseid and Doomsday for the end.
Exactly. Because like who is going to fight? Like
that's when they have to invent Nuclear Man.
Putting him against Batman, and like we know, like head up, Batman can't fight him. And Snyder was like, that's going to be the whole backbone of my film. Is just going to be because these are 2 favorite characters, but it's like these guys are not scaled properly, so it makes the whole movie weird. So Batman, I guess cloning was a good way to write out of that.
And Batman don't kill, so it's not really that big of a fucking like.
Snyder's
is he gonna break his only rule?
Snyder's Batman was he have a pistol out at one point?
AC, I have a question.
That was killing people.
I have a question for you, AC. Though, how did you feel about the Ultraman thing? Because I think I liked about it is I liked that it allowed Lex Luthor to be active in the fight scenes without obviously having to fight because he was in it. Like the shit of him calling stuff out was really compelling. And how did you feel about that? Because I feel like it's
honest. I know. I mean, to your point, I think it's so good. It's so good. You needed to feel Lex's hatred, and when he spammed A1, like
that was the first thing he made. The first command he made was punch to face.
And it's almost like he lost his own equilibrium while that was happening because he was like, oh no, fuck this, I'm beating this guy now.
I think the way you guys felt about the CGI thing is how I felt about the Lex calling out commands to like so many different people just hitting like you got a whole computer station to hit like punch, nigga. Like
that's fair. That's fair.
Like it just like it felt like maybe if they would have had him in like some sort of like 3D chamber or something. I don't know, like, but at the same time, I understand how it serves a movie because you just don't get how much a hater he is unless he's like yelling and running around the room and spitting commands. And like the fact that each command had like a code instead of just like right punch or whatever was clearly to be like, because he's so smart, he wouldn't even just say right punch. He'd be like R25 or whatever. So like I got that, but that felt like kind of contrived, almost like it almost took me out of the movie a little bit to be like, okay, we just want to see Nicholas Holtz acting and rage in a quick scene, but it didn't give me the like. I think it's supposed to give me the vibe of like, this guy's a fucking genius, and instead I was just like, he made this way more complicated than it needed to be.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the funny thing about saying that, I think the thing that I also take away from that is, for the most part, his workers were very juiced up to
Right?
to help. Like, they were excited. Like, they felt like they were on like this was almost like a vacation for them of some
Eve was
sorts.
the
Like, they
only
were
motherfucker
enjoying
that was.
themselves.
Eve was the only one with a conscience on that
Yes.
team. Otis Berg was fucking with the shits.
And old boy with the glasses was like, "Yo, the wormhole. Maybe you should chill out with the wormhole." And Lex was like, "Nah, fuck that shit. We go."
Yeah, and for the record, that dude was mostly just worried about like himself and the repercussions. Because once the ship would fly, he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, fuck them people." Like, whoa, how did he find this many evil people just chilling around?
That's not a question. I think that's a question that we don't need to be asking in 2025.
That's true.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like the trope of reluctant hench people is like way overdone. Not that it can't ever happen, but like it's just like
these people were jazzed up to
and what about this? I mean, yeah, people are jazzed up to be evil.
But there's something, even in real life, there's something to, even though it's a trope, there's something to the you've gone even further than the other evil people. And so like this motherfucker had a crew of ride or dies. Like even the engineer was like, I'm sorry, Lex, I'll get him next time. Like it was so fucking, he was so fucking
He was an interesting character. I have mixed feelings about it. I think her power set, the way that they show her powers is really cool. Like I think
the fortress,
the CGI was done really well. I do think that a part of the movie not being like 3.5 hours long, which I didn't want it to be, is that like there clearly is some motivation stuff that like her character doesn't make a ton of sense, because she's clearly not motivated by the same hate, really. I mean, she is in some ways, but I wouldn't have minded like maybe a minute more of her stuff, because she's in it a lot more than I thought she was going to be. And I feel like at a certain point, it's like, why is she like when they're flying up and like falling down to earth at rapid speed? It's like, why is she willing to shoot into the earth like a torpedo for? And I'm there could be an answer for that, but I do think that we could have had a minute more given that.
Right.
I also don't understand how that worked when he flew up so high and then flew back down. Then I was able to get the stuff out of his lungs. I think
it's because it knocked her out. Because she controls the nanites, and it knocked her out.
Oh, got it. If you knock her out, then she can't control
I think that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, that was the vibe I got, because they say specifically that the nanites do what her mind says. I think that's what they're getting at. But obviously,
this is also why it's super important that he's not that smart. Because, like, that's a real caveman's answer to that shit. He's like, I'm going to fly down real high and then slam myself into the ground as hard as I fucking can. And I'm like, I'm in the movie like, I don't know if this is going to work.
It's definitely not Iron Man and Ironmonger where he says you didn't figure out the freeze capabilities on the
Batman would have like been like contingency 4712, and we were like, oh, I don't know what it is, but he already thought about it.
And Superman just like up and down.
Yeah, he like, if I fly real high, slam the ground. I'm like, okay.
One thing we didn't get to talk about was the Kents.
I thought,
that was a wonderful, very warm scenes.
I don't agree, but I do think it's interesting. Springthorpe said at the end of the movie, he said, this might be crazy, but I think that Pa Kent is my favorite performance in the movie. And I think that performance is incredible. I think that Pruitt Taylor Vince, casting just like regular people. I mean, I've seen Pruitt Taylor, but he's been in stuff. He's in My Beloved Constantine. Like, he's around. But like just casting like people who seem like they could actually be farmers in Kansas, as opposed to Diane Lane and Kevin Costner, who are like, they do their jobs in that movie, but like you immediately, I think just casting people who look like normal fucking people immediately makes you understand like he's just a dude. Like he doesn't come from movie stars, Like, and I actually think it's a great juxtaposition to have his Kryptonian dad be a movie star, but his Earth parents are not movie stars. And just like the emotion that when he's talking about like, who you are is what you do, like we try to shape you, like that could be so cliche. We've had so many speeches from parental figures in superhero movies talking about your actions or what makes you yada yada yada. But like he felt it in a way that made it feel fresh to me.
Yeah,
he was giving that Coach Taylor energy, dog, from Friday Night Lights. That speech was like, oh man, I was like, bring it in, Superman. Let's get
Bring
the
it-
lights back on. Let's
Isn't
get the
Coach
fuck
Taylor
back out
about to
there.
be?
Yes, he's going to
Isn't
be
Coach
Hal
Taylor
Jordan,
about to
right?
be in the Lantern show?
He
Yeah,
is
he's gonna be Hal
He is
Jordan.
Hal Jordan. Yeah.
Turn that
He
up.
is.
I love Coach Taylor, man. Turn that up.
Man,
Yeah,
that Lantern
dog.
show, we got Aaron Pierre, Nathan Fillion, and Coach Taylor. I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
but
That's-
that was some
That's
real
gonna be a
Friday,
fun time.
because like that was a superpower Friday Night Lights. It's a show that takes place in Texas college football culture. And you're just like, I'm already like, I know this shit gonna feel racist and conservative. And you're watching it like you're watching it and you like, nah, I believe this white man might be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he one of them people that truly don't care about politics. He just think you should do the right thing or whatever. And that's what Podcast was for me. Like I was sitting there watching it like, yeah, just do the right thing, Clark. You know what the right thing is, right?
Yeah. I wanted to ask all of you guys, who ended up being your favorite non-Superman character of the film?
Crypto.
Yeah.
Crypto.
Yeah, let's talk about Crypto.
While we're here, let's discuss Crypto.
That stuff was literally made in a lab for dog lovers. I mean, he literally wakes up from getting his ass whooped, and the dog is like laying on his chest, wagging his tail. Like that's just food. That's just fodder for me.
The stroke of genius
as
is
a dog
that it's
lover.
not his dog. That's the stroke of genius.
Yeah, I really like that. Like you don't know it's not his dog until the end, because you just assume that's his dog, and to have the kind of that twist of like it's not actually his dog.
The line Teej, I'm sure you loved, is when he's gonna go out and try to save the dog, and Lois is questioning him, and he said, "Yeah, and he's not even a really good one, but he's
not even a very good one, but I gotta go get him."
I just love that.
That shit where he ends up going, that's like brains beats brawn, and then it's just like Crypto, get him or whatever. It's like it's not even that smart.
It's not.
Crypto saved him like 5 times in this film. Like he literally saved him like 5 times.
He's a good boy.
I also love that the moment that Supergirl shows up, you get it. You understand why Crypto's Crypto. I mean, it's just, you immediately explain it. And it's like, oh shit, this is why this dog's playing. And obviously, I mean, there's been a lot.
Crypto like slams her into the ground, and those sounds that they add with that sound like punches, and you're just like, oh yeah. And that's another thing that made the film dope is the Supergirl thing at the end. It feels like this was just 5 days in Superman's life.
Exactly.
Like this,
But no, what I was going to say about Crypto is, sorry, go.
No, I was just
James Gunn has talked to ad nauseum.
No, you go. I refuse.
He's talked to nauseum that Crypto is based on a dog that he adopted, which was really bad. And he asked himself, what would it be like if a superpowered dog was bad? And I love that idea. I love the idea of having a dog that's not good, because we've all had a dog that we love, but is a shithead. Like we've all had it.
And that was and like that was a real normalizing moment that made just the same way Metropolis being crazy all the time made this feel like the stakes of this movie, they actually aren't like destruction of the earth stakes. Like it's actually not like, oh, all the multiverses will be. It rises to a level of that, but at the same time, it's like, but that's what Superman does. And his cousin comes and picks up her dog. She doesn't even ask if he's okay. He's not sitting there shaking and shit. And then she's like, all right, buddy, you have a good one. And that's just what the fuck is happening in Superman's life this week.
That's not what she says. She says, thanks for watching him, bitch.
Yeah. That was funny as hell.
Millie Alcock, our Game of Thrones queen.
Yes, let's go.
She's great. I mean, once again, that got me more excited than if they shoehorned in a 5-minute segment with her.
Yeah.
Well, I think because they're basing it off the Woman of Tomorrow run in the books, and in them, she's not exactly the Girl Scout, that's for sure. So that should create a very fun story for them to tell. And again, it's a very difficult way to kind of navigate a movie like this, is because I'm sure I saw David Zaslav's big old statement today where he was doing all the grandstanding. Like there's
leave us alone and let us have
I didn't really need to hear from him today. But
he just said this is the beginning of a new journey, yada yada.
The beginning of the journey, James Gunn and Peter Safran's 10-year plan is on the way, and just basically stuff like that, taking a victory lap.
Oh,
I mean,
It's
Warner
kinda
Brothers is
funny 'cause
having
it's-
an incredible year, like an
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
incredible, phenomenal year,
yeah.
coming off of Sinners and a couple other little hits and big hits. So, I mean, he's talking his shit right now.
And the key
I just want him
was,
to
of
shut up.
course, shelving Batwoman or Batgirl. That was the key. It all started when he took a great movie and said, "Y'all don't need to see this," and it's
That's
been all
true.
up.
That's insane.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, not that it actually matters at all, because I think it doesn't matter. But like,
Yeah.
it's just doing like fine. Like, it's doing like domestically, it's doing well, but it's like actually just like not doing great overseas. So like, they're clearly putting out statements to say it's with a victory lap because they want that to be the narrative. Because if they didn't, there would be people who would notice. Like, it's kind of odd that it only made $90 million overseas.
Yeah.
That's not great. Like, it is kind of funny.
If Fantastic Four comes out and then if they go gangbusters and make more money,
like,
then they're gonna.
My guess is I think Fantastic Four is going to get under Superman domestically, but over internationally. That's my guess.
Also,
not that it matters.
Also, I feel like he had to do that because the Snyderverse boys is still out here in these streets.
Man,
they need somebody up top to declare victory, so that they can't keep
vote.
The Snyder guys keep trying to spin it into, same way people did with Sinners, where it's like, yeah, it made $400 million, but it needs to make $407 million before it's actually a success. Like, I think he just nipped it in the bud of like, we love it, because they did the same thing for Sinners. By the way, was when everyone was spinning the like, no, it's actually not a success. He was like, it's a fucking success. We love it. We love Ryan Coogler. We want him to do more movies. Shut the fuck up. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Exactly. You got to do that. I feel like I think it's very notable that they're doing that, even if it's not like the biggest movie of all time, because like that's the thing you see Disney not doing sometimes with movies or shit that put out. And it's like, no, put on a brave face. And I think a great point is also make. Not even that it's just like it's not an underperforming like this, but like people point out, Batman Begins did not break even. Batman Begins cost like $150 million and only made like 350 worldwide. And with advertising, it didn't break even. But because people liked it, they're like, oh, we're going to put money into a sequel. And then The Dark Knight was one of the biggest movies ever. Right. I think it's good, I think, that even if Superman is not going to make $1 billion, that they're treating it as a success because they care that people like it. Because I think that if they were just searching, if all they were searching for was a huge number for this movie, that could get them in trouble. It's like, no. This is a 10-year plan. People need to like Superman 2025.
Yes.
Because if Superman 2025
make a good movie
if Superman 2025 makes $1.2 billion, but it's like lukewarm reception, then they're fucked. If it makes $800 million worldwide or whatever, but people love it, then they can put out then Supergirl can make $600 million. You know what I mean? Like,
didn't Batman versus Superman make a lot of money?
It underperformed. It made like $780 million, which for Batman versus Superman is not. I mean, that should have made $1 billion.
The new Jurassic Park movie just made $1 billion, and it stinks.
Like, honestly, but the big thing is that's huge international stuff. Like, that's the Jurassic shit gets so like Jurassic World Dominion made over $1 billion. Like, that's how much people overseas like dinosaurs.
Man of Steel made $670 million worldwide, and then spawned so many shitty movies off of that. So if this movie comes anywhere close to Man of Steel, I'll be thankful, because I'll take 10 years of spinoffs of this over 10 years of Zack Snyder spinoffs.
Also, can I tell a fact I found out, which is so insane? So James Gunn's obviously leading DC now, right? And Kevin Feige leads Marvel, right? And James Gunn's energy is very like fresh and yada yada. James Gunn, this is so nuts. James Gunn is almost 7 years older than Kevin Feige. That does not feel like it's true at all.
It doesn't feel.
It feels like the opposite is true. But no, James Gunn's an old man. He's like 58.
Yeah, right. I think he's. Honestly, I feel like he's about to usher in. I feel it's so funny. Like, when I saw this teaser in December, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to be really good. Like, you got the feeling like he just talked about the character like he had a very strong idea and he brought it out. And honestly, I think it hit for a lot of people. And on top of that, I just think it was very timely. That's why I think it just like resonates with a lot of people who watched it. So. That's where I think now
cynicism is dead. Cynicism is dead. Nihilism dead. We're being good to each other. Fuck you. We're not doing any of this shit. The world wants to convince you that you need to, cheat other people, or like doing good for good's sake is dumb and idealistic. No, fuck you. That's how we got into this place. It's 2025. If we're ever going to beat the bad people, we need to have Superman's idea that you get up every morning, you try to do as much good as possible. Thank God that James Gunn put this movie out now, man. I'm so tired that we're fucking optimism is back. No, none of this nihilistic bullshit. We're going to win. The good people are going to win because we're good and there's more of us than there are them. Fuck off.
Oh, damn it, Jake! I'm ready to run through a wall based off of what you just said. Let's
Fucking
go.
do it.
That's what this
That was
movie
like
like.
Coach Taylor right there.
Honestly, that's why I love this movie. Is that's what made the movie make me feel like yes, we're
That's
going
why
to be
it's-
good.
Yep.
Exactly. That's why that's why I've been calling it a comfort movie, because I know, like, when I watch it, like it makes me feel good about not only what I'm watching, but just the idea that there is that hope that good people can be good, and good people want to be good is the main thing of what Superman is about. Just like when that monologue from him towards the end of that really hit home, and honestly, like, the way that James Gunn used the needle drop at the end while he was playing the memories of the Kents,
That made me
it was
cry.
a great end to the movie.
When he
Switching
watches his
that-
parents, I made me cry. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Switching that from watching his birth parents to watching his earthly
dog.
parents is just that's James Gunn
Perfect.
filmmaking. That is a James Gunn. That's Guardians 3 level emotional manipulation of the audience.
I mean, it's kind of it's okay.
I was just, especially after Frank Miller and his take on Superman in the Dark Knight comic book basically destroyed what Superman stood for like 20, 30 years now. Like Superman became the authority, and he's fascism, and he in the book he's working with Reagan's government. Like just shit where you're like, that's the opposite of the core of that character, but that's what he wanted it to do. And it felt like every writer and every movie maker since then kind of took their cue from him. Even if they didn't make Superman like a full-blown villain, they kind of made him stand for like order and authority. And like it's not I'm trying to do good, but it's like I'm trying to create some order in this world. Even some of the negative takes like Brightburn and The Boys, it's very much like, I stand for order, I have all the power, you guys should just do what the fuck I think you should do. And I like that this got back to his humanity, where it's like, I actually don't have all the power, I can't make people just do what the fuck I want them to do. And what I can do is try to be a shining example of just do the right thing. And as Jake said, it's a moment where that feels super needed after a drought of those type of characters in our fiction, in our narratives for I mean, it's like I said, it has to feel like 10, 20, 30 years since we've had a guy who's just like try to do some good.
The power of positivity for sure. So, but before we wrap up here, I want to get some final thoughts from everybody. Just like any other takes that you may have, Teej, like any other like stray thoughts that you may have about this movie, or just kind of like an overall summation of your feelings about this movie overall.
I have a take that I've been workshopping, and I've been trying to interrogate within myself whether I truly believe it or not. And I think that I believe it.
All right, talk about it.
I think that given the whole gunness of this, given the success of this film, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I, sitting here today, am probably slightly more excited about the future of DC than I am about the future of Marvel. And I just never thought that was a possibility. Maybe that will turn out to be not true, or maybe that will turn out to be misguided. Maybe Fantastic Four is about to drop, and it's about to be the greatest shit ever. I'm very excited for Fantastic Four. But right now, I have no idea what Gunn is doing, but I know that I trust Gunn at this moment today more than I trust this version of Feige, and that could change. Feige, you can shut me up. I would love for you to do that, but right now, I'm way more into what Gunn is doing than I am in terms of what I think is going to happen with Marvel. But the X-Men are coming, so that's an easy way to get me to shut up. If they knock the X-Men out of the park, I'll probably switch my allegiances again. But I'm all in on the future of DC. I'm all in on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a hot take right now, dude. I think but it's just honestly it's length too, right? Like one thing's been happening for 15 years. One thing is getting a fresh new start. If they would have tried to attach any of this in any way to anything Snyder had done, it would have immediately zapped all the vibe. So like that's all it is like Marvel's still trying to like carry the good and bad baggage and make something good from that. And this one kind of gets to go, fresh start. And James Gunn's been cooking. The Suicide Squad he did, I liked. Creature Commandos is dope. The really Peacemaker is dope.
Peacemaker fire.
Yeah, and now it's about to be rolling, right? Because you got Superman, Peacemaker, Lanterns. Like now we're really about to see them get in their bag because things are going to start coming off this conveyor assembly line. I was honestly, dude, when I left this joint, I felt like Nico Harrison must have felt when they got that number 1 pick. Where it was like,
yes,
it was like, yo, dog, I didn't know what the fuck was finna happen. It was looking bad for your boy out here. But I think we got something with this corn sweat motherfucker right here, dog. I think we finna go back to the playoffs and we gonna keep this shit rolling. Luca who? I don't know him.
I think that like the thing I'm interested to see. I think the thing that will clinch it is how Supergirl is as a movie, because obviously Lanterns is the TV. Because I think it's interesting to see what the first thing that is not written and directed by James Gunn, how that turns out, right? Because James Gunn makes great movies. James Gunn, I don't think has made a bad movie in his career. You know, is as a director at least. So like, I'm not surprised that he made a good movie. But if Supergirl, which is directed by Craig Gillespie, a person who I have more faith in than most people. If that's good, then like we're cooking, right? Because that means that he's because we sort of don't know what James Gunn is like as boss, right? As like overseer. And so that I'm really interested in. Obviously, Lantern is going to be a slight preview of that, but TV's a little different. But yeah, I think that if he can be mogul and creative voice, because that was the thing that like Snyder never was able to do, not because he really didn't want to, really. Like he was never that good. He was not good at directing his own movies, and he was definitely not good at creating a coherent universe.
100%.
And so I'm interested to see how the stuff that's not written and directed by James Gunn comes out.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement, and I to Teej's point about the take regarding Marvel, Marvel's 2026 is going to be very fascinating because this is the rubber meets the road for them. This is kind of the all right. Now we've had enough of the speculation. Your biggest characters are on the front page right there for everybody to see. So if people are not buying the new Spider-Man, I doubt it. That think that Spider-Man movie gonna be fire personally. Yeah. And then
that's a layup.
The Doom. It feels like the easiest layup in the history of mankind.
Yeah, they don't. They don't fuck up the Spider-Man movies. It be the other shit.
It don't be Sony. It up. It be
It's the Doom. Honestly, like Doomsday is the Doomsday.
Yeah, that's the one, right? That's the one. Because like that's the other thing. The one that they really. We're so far in now that even when they take an L from me, it don't really hit. It's got to be a big L, like because they get big L's and they get little L's and little W's all the time now. Like it's like, oh, okay, Iron, like, okay, you like Ironheart, you don't like Ironheart, whatever. You like fucking Echo, you don't like Echo, you like Daredevil, you like that shit happens all the time. It's like, oh, the Daredevil great. Ironheart, okay, I don't like that. Oh shit, so that it's gonna have to be one of these movies in the theater that they put everything into. Not no Brave New World. Not no motherfucker, not even the Marvels or whatever. Like the universe wasn't riding on the Marvels. This shit riding on this Doomsday shit, bro.
Which reminds me, I gotta run because I'm going to the writer's room to figure out Act 3. So I
gotta get on ChatGPT real quick, see what's happening.
Yeah. Not what you want to read. Not what you want to read.
I think he must have been trolling, right?
Oh no, the ChatGPT, that was fake. That wasn't real. Okay. But no, they are actually they are allegedly not finalized on Act 3 yet. Which is
I believe that.
Remember, Gunn just came out a couple months ago and said part of the problem with these comic book movies is that they go into production on these movies
no scripts
before the script is done.
Like they had that Sergeant Rocket joint that they had to shelve.
Them Russos though, I don't know, bro. I feel like they've been getting away.
Anyone can figure it out
in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, in the Marvel universe, these motherfuckers been freestyling like a motherfucker, and they the only ones that's been nailing these freestyle ass.
They're playoff Jimmy.
Like I first
until they fail, I'm gonna believe in them. I'm sorry.
Like if you, because I know I've been a fan of Russo's forever because I was a fan of them because they were the main directors on Community, my favorite show of all time. And the stories you hear from that show, it's like 4 a.m. on Saturday morning, and they're still coming in with pages, and the Russos figured it out. So like if they can figure out like Dan Harmon's writing schedule, then like I think if anyone can figure it out.
Now that being said, if it don't work, that means it can't work, right? Because like if that means like if you had the Russos, you brought RDJ back. You got the boys, you got everybody in this joint, and we walk out of Doomsday like, I don't know, dog. It's a
We
wrap.
have reached. Yeah,
I think I'm putting the Russos on fraud watch, bros. I think I'm putting the Russos on fraud watch.
Absolutely, they're absolutely on fraud watch. Oh,
they are on fraud
Fraud
watch because of all their non-Marvel movies they made since they gave us those classics.
I know,
and I'm
but
very nervous. I'm extremely nervous about those.
But to me, that's the same. That's like looking at Jimmy Butler or whatever. That's the same vibes of like, yeah, it's fucking March. His fucking back is hurting. Okay, how many times do we have to get to June and be like, okay, well, shit, I guess you're gonna do this every time? I don't care about March. Like, what the fuck was happening on Netflix? I don't care about that. I care about you fucking up the Marvel movie. So if they fuck up this Marvel movie, I will 100% be on here like, yeah, man, MCU is dead. I don't know how you bring that back.
Literally might be DC University. Who knows? We'll see.
What
We'll see as the
What
time
if the
goes on.
Russos are Roy Hibbert? Remember that class? Roy Hibbert was like, he's changing the game from the inside. He's going to change, and then you never heard about Roy Hibbert again.
Did Roy Hibbert make Endgame, Civil War? I don't remember.
No, he did not.
He had no hit.
Definitely did not.
We at this point we're like, what if LeBron never wins a fifth ring? That's what we are. The Russos are on some like
we at the end.
Yeah, the Russos ain't.
Roy Hibbert never made Infinity War. He never did that. That's true.
Yeah, Russos ain't on fraud. I mean, they might be on your fraud watch, but they're not on fraud watch because they didn't have.
No, they're not Roy Hibbert, but they are on fraud watch because, like, I do think the thing too is because Joe Russo can't stop himself from saying an idiotic thing every 3 days, so like that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Like he just can't stop being like.
Doesn't help.
Yeah, he just can't stop being like, we're embracing AI.
That's how they get you though. That's how they get you because in your mind the expectations going lower and lower. You're gonna walk your ass in that theater like, what the fuck? That shit was actually good.
Oh my god, I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, damn, I thought it was gonna be terrible.
Oh man, what a time! What a time, boys! This has been a fun conversation. Superman is a movie that we'll be talking about for a while, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the DCU has to offer. Like I said, Peacemaker. Hey man, I was in on season 1. I can't wait for season 2, especially with the connections that they're gonna have coming off this Superman movie. And it's very exciting to see what they have and James Gunn, what they're gonna do going forward. But yes, this was a good start for the DCU, and it's a good show that we had this evening. Want to thank our guests for joining us. First, Teej, my brother, thank you for coming on and gracing us with your presence.
Where can we?
Of course, as always, where can we find and follow you, my friend?
I'm at Les_Humble Teej on Twitter, and I also have a podcast. It's called the First Take Podcast. We talk about movies. I'm actually going to be potting about Superman again in about 30 minutes. So,
nice. Okay.
This conversation was so helpful to get me to organize my thoughts and hear y'all's amazing thoughts on the movie. And I'm just so happy that we are in a positive place with DC. It's been a long road, and it's not like everything that we got from DC has been shitty. Mm-hmm. The animated stuff has been phenomenal, and it has always been phenomenal. Really. There are a couple of DC movies that I have an affinity for, but generally speaking, I'm just happy that we are on to the next phase of DC because competition is good for all of us. If these two studios are actually in a real competition, we will get better shit from it. So I'm very
excited. Why Madden sucks. Why Madden sucks, no competition.
Facts.
Agree.
Facts. I know you appreciate that.
Teej, I told you I would coach you to a championship, and we got there. With
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Of course.
What a fun episode.
Yes. Nothing but love. Rod, my brother, where can we find you, sir?
The Black Guy Who Tips, everywhere you get podcasts. You can also search the Black Guy Who Tips Spoiled Movie Reviews, where I do movie reviews with either my wife, by myself, or we have guests on. Check that out. New reviews come out every month. So if you're premium, theblackguywhotips.com/premium, you get them right away. If not, you get them at the beginning of the next month.
Wonderful stuff. But as always from Rod. Jake, how about you, sir?
You can follow me on Twitter at the Jake Christie, on TikTok at the Jake Christie, and on Blue Sky at Jake Christie. Obviously still doing this pod. It's this was a really, really fun conversation. I knew it was gonna be. The moment I left the theater, I'm like, the Superman pod's gonna be great. Because if a movie is really good or really bad, the pod's really great, and this is really good. Yes. So
1000%. You can follow me on Twitter at AnthonyCanton_3. Follow the show on all platforms at MC University Pod. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all of those things, patreon.com, that Fantastic Four movie. I may have to turn it on tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'll keep the folks in the Discord and otherwise updated on that as we get closer to doing that movie, which will be pretty soon. And then listen, we're close to Fantastic Four First Steps. That's next.
Mhm.
So
Man.
like there's just one more week in between. So we are getting to that point. So that's another show that we'll be looking forward to doing. And of course, we got all the Road to Doomsday stuff that we've been doing, and there's some more episodes to come with that. Have an exciting episode planned for that post Fantastic Four that can't wait to do. So just keep it locked here for Teej and Rod and Jake. I'm Anthony Canton III. This has been Marvel Cinematic University, and we will talk to you next time.